The global food supply is facing vast challenges: uneven distribution of food, climate change, food loss and waste, malnutrition and obesity. With a growing population, we must collaborate to ensure a reliable supply of sustainable, safe, high-quality food to consumers all over the world, both now and in the future. Somewhere in the world, there's the perfect food business partner for you. A partner who can help grow your business in the global food arena. A business area characterized by enormous growth. It's highly likely that your future food business partner will come from Denmark. Even though our own agricultural area is relatively modest, Danish food production feeds 3 times our own population. Denmark is one of the market leaders in both primary and processed food production, food equipment and ingredients industry, know-how and research. Doing business with the Danish food cluster, you become a part of tomorrow's opportunities and solutions. In Denmark, successful researchers, entrepreneurs and food producers are already future-bound when it comes to their knowledge of resource efficiency, sustainability and innovation. Let's collaborate across nations to convert the global challenges into opportunities. Food Nation is a public-private partnership established by the Danish government and leading private organizations and companies working as a gateway for international stakeholders seeking information about Danish food solutions. Join the Danish food cluster as a business partner or build a career in a field where you will contribute to creating change and discovering better solutions of tomorrow.
Global Food Talk, Organic Production and Consumption, a contributor to the sustainable global food system. The aim with our series of online global food talks is to address how the world ensures safe and healthy food for everyone in a sustainable way. So my name is Lise Valbom and I'm the CEO of Food Nation. Food Nation is a public-private partnership. And I've been looking so much forward to welcome all of you here today. We are live streaming from Food Nation's Visitor Center in Copenhagen. And this is where we welcome delegations from all over the world and where we showcase the strongholds of the Danish agriculture and food sector. I would like to start with a warm welcome to the Minister of Food, Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Rasmus Prehn, and all our speakers here today from all over the world, you at home, maybe at your office. We are so happy that you're all with us today. We can underline the fact that we have people with us from Ghana to Germany and also from China to Brazil. So we are really covering the whole world with this global food talk. It is important that we can keep in contact, even though we cannot yet meet real life, all of us. Right here now, we have the opportunity of opening society here in Denmark. But I believe we all very much aware of the situation is serious in many parts of the world. The pandemic is behaving differently, but we are moving towards better times. And I wish you all a safe trip through the challenging time of this pandemic. So being here today, we believe that by curious conversations and ambitious meetings about global sustainability, we can inspire each other and create the momentum to progress the green transition. Today's talk will focus on organic production and consumption. This is a very important topic. Over the last few decades, the agricultural landscape has been transformed by new technologies, boosting agricultural productivity to new heights in order to meet the growing global demands. However, these developments have also had negative impact on the environment, such as soil degradation, loss of biodiversity, water and soil pollution, and increased greenhouse gas emissions. So in order to face these challenges, there is no silver bullet. No, we need to approach the challenges with solutions from different angles, and organic agriculture and consumption is part of these solutions. Therefore, we also see countries around the world setting ambitious goals to convert farmland to organic production and motivate consumers to increase organic consumption. In order to reach these goals, we need to share experiences. So let's talk, and let today's Global Food Talk inspire and initiate actions and next steps towards the green transition of the global food system, where organic agriculture and consumption is part of the solution. So today's guests here at Food Nation will motivate and share their ideas and experiences working with initiatives, innovation and collaboration to ensure organic food supply, no matter where in the world you are. So our speakers today are Mr. Henri Delanghe, Deputy Head of Unit Organics from the European Commission, Mr. Rasmus Prehn, Minister of Food, Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Paul Holmbeck, World Board Member, IFOAM Organics International, Kræn Østergaard Nielsen, CEO from COOP Danmark, and Hanne Søndergaard, CMO and EVP of Marketing, Innovation, Communication and Sustainability from Arla Foods. So this is really inspiring people, and they have all powerful and deep insights into the national and global agriculture and food systems. And today's topic, and with this high ambition here in the room to create change for a more sustainable future, I'm sure we will have an inspiring dialogue. So therefore, they are here today. Because the steps we take today, they will impact our future. And I know this because this morning I actually received a letter from the future. And I will now share it with you. Let me just have a look. This is our letter from the future.
To my lovely children and grandchildren, it's February 11, 2050. The bumblebees are slowly leaving their nest to pollinate the sleepy flowers as the winter draws to a close. I can't wait to bring my grandchildren to the farmer's market for shopping organic produce for dinner. I'm so thankful for the global actions the world has taken on sustainability and organics since 2022, when I was just a young woman. Back then, the condition of soil and water had proven to be a major problem for global food production. The biodiversity of our ecosystem was threatened, and it was a serious global challenge for our food systems. The rate of global diversity loss was estimated to be 1,000 times higher than the natural or current extinction rate, faster than any other time in human history. I know it can be hard for you to imagine, but when I was young, we did not know if we could reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. What has happened since is not just a change in the food system, no. We have increased efforts and developed solutions that support environmentally friendly agriculture and food production. At the same time, consumers have shown an increasing interest in organic products. I'm so keen on telling you about a few of the changes made in the last decade. It was in the 2030s the development reversed and we started to see an increase in biodiversity. Many countries around the world reached their ambitious targets to convert to organic farmland. The European Union converted 25% of the agricultural land in just 9 years. This was due to a close international partnership with the aim to promote organic production and consumption. Policymakers joined forces with NGOs, academia, the agriculture and food sector, and retail to promote transition towards organic production. Companies develop technologies such as biosolutions for plant protection and to keep organic products fresh longer. And we also saw the global implementation and use of weeding robots and biorefining facilities to extract organic protein from new plant sources. Furthermore, retailers increased their organic product range and created consumer awareness about the organic principles. Government supported prevalence of organic labels in supermarkets, and the organic cuisine label made inroads in market worldwide to increase the use of organic commodities in commercial kitchens and restaurants. The planet on which I see my grey hair, laugh lines and happy grandchildren today is the same planet on which we doubted its sustainable future just decades ago. But I want you to know, by standing together, sharing knowledge and experiences, history has taught us that we can overcome even the biggest challenges. Now the new sustainable world is no longer on her way. She's no longer a distant whisper in our ears. No, she's here, loud and proud as can be. With love, your Granny.
So, everyone, this letter really inspires me and hopefully all of you. And the letter set the scene for today's talk about which actions are needed to take us to the future in 2050, as we had just described here in the letter. We have succeeded there with reversing the current development and found environmentally friendly method of production and motivated and inspired to more organic consumption. We all need to take the necessary actions, and here all different approaches, methods, innovation, and solutions and product development, everything are important tools. So now we need to take a closer look at some of these actions, and this is why I would like to give the word to Mr. Henri Delanghe, Deputy Head of Unit Organics, Director General Agriculture and Rural Development from the European Commission, who is with us online. Henri Delanghe joined the Organics Unit in February 2021 as a Deputy Head of Unit, and in this position, Mr. Delanghe is one of the action takers to reach the ambitious European goals of 25% of agricultural land under organic farming by 2030. So with only 8 years to go, we need to boost the production and consumption of organic products. This requires the attention and action of all, from food producers and food supply chain stakeholders to food industries, retailers and consumers, to ensure transformative change. So we would like to hear your take on this. Mr. Henri Delanghe, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and thank you very much, and good morning also to the Minister and to the other speakers and to everybody attending this event. And greetings, of course, from the European Commission in Brussels. And thank you very much for having invited me here this morning and to contribute to this important event. I thought that maybe I would start by explaining a bit why the EU prioritizes organic farming, organic production. And the starting point, of course, is this umbrella strategy that we have, and which is called the European Green Deal. And the main objective of the European Green Deal is climate neutrality by 2050. Now, within the context of the Green Deal, a whole range of different strategies have then been developed. And there are two that are important for us here today. The first one is the farm to fork strategy, and that's a strategy that aims at making food systems fair, healthy, and sustainable, environmentally friendly. And the other strategy that's of course important is the biodiversity strategy for 2030, which aims at protecting nature and which aims at reversing the degradation of the ecosystems. A point that was, of course, a very important point that was alluded to in your letter from the future. Now, so we have the Green Deal, we have the farm to fork strategy, we have the biodiversity strategy. What are some of the important goals in those strategies? And then I give a few examples. There is, for instance, the goal of reducing by 50% the use and risk of chemical pesticides by 2030. There is the goal of reducing fertilizer use by 20% by 2030. There is the goal of reducing by 50% the sales of antimicrobials for farmed animals and aquaculture. And then there is this goal, as Lisa already said, of achieving 25% of total farmland under organic farming by 2030. And you will ask, why then this goal of 25%? Well, of course, because increasing organic farming, increasing organic production will precisely contribute to the achievement of these targets on pesticides and fertilizers and antimicrobials. Because of course, in organic farming, there's no plant protection with synthetically produced chemicals. There's no utilization of easily soluble mineral fertilizers. And in organic farming, we generally dispense with the use of antibiotics. So organic farming is good for the environment. It's good for biodiversity. There are different studies that show that biodiversity on a plot farmed organically is 30% higher than on other plots. It's good for animal welfare. It's good for the farmers because they can charge higher prices. It's good for rural development because of the higher labor intensity of organic farming, which leads to job creation. And you can also develop initiatives linked to tourism. It's a system based on a fully certified value chain, so it's fully controllable, and it's also a system that is recognized and trusted by the consumer. So these are some of the reasons why the EU prioritizes organic farming, organic production. So we have this 25% target, and what have we done? Last year, the Commission has adopted an action plan, the Action Plan for the Development of Organic Production, precisely to contribute to the achievement of this 25% target. Now, before telling you a little bit about the different actions in that action plan, taking a step back and explaining you a little bit the logic, the rationale of this action plan. So first of all, this action plan is comprehensive in the sense that we have one axis that is focused on consumption, one axis that is focused on the production of organic products, and then a third axis that is focused on increasing the sustainability of organic production, because that's very important. We know that organic production is already a model in terms of sustainability, but we can always do better. For instance, when it comes to energy use and water use and plastics. So this action plan is comprehensive, production, consumption, sustainability, but it takes an approach that is first and foremost demand driven. And that's very fundamental. We need to develop the demand for organic products. If there is insufficient demand and we only focus on increasing the supply of organic products, then of course farmers cannot sell their products at the right prices. This will lead to frustration, and this will defeat the ultimate purpose of the target of the action plan. So comprehensive, demand-driven. We also address the public sector at all levels of governance. That's very important that we involve national authorities, regional authorities, local authorities. And we also address the private sector along the value chain. Also very important that we involve the farmers, the processors, wholesalers, retailers, all the way down to restaurants. Very important in this action plan is also the focus on research and innovation, in particular for this third axis, the sustainability axis. And then, of course, it's very important to mobilize sufficient financial support, and I will come back to that in a moment. So what are some of the actions? Very quickly, I won't bore you with going into detail on all of these actions, but when we're talking about increasing demand for organic products, of course, we're thinking about measures like informing consumers about all of the benefits of organic farming, promoting, so agricultural promotion of organic products. We're also focusing very heavily on green public procurement, because we think that's a very important source of demand. So if in public canteens, whether run by the national government, the regional government, or the local government, if you could increase the share of organic products there, in kindergartens, in schools, in hospitals, that's a very important source of demand. And of course, we also work directly with the private sector. We have something called the Code of Conduct for Responsible Business and Marketing Practices, where the private sector commits also to certain actions in the field of organic production. So that's for demand. Then we have, of course, supply. And there, a very important tool in the EU is, of course, the Common Agricultural Policy, where we provide financial support, we provide advice and training to farmers, and I will come back to that in a moment. But under supply, we have the Common Agricultural Policy. We also help the value chain to get organized. We help organic farmers to collaborate, so they have a stronger position in the value chain. They can negotiate better with processors and so on. We support short supply chains so that farmers can sell directly to consumers, means lower prices for consumers, more money for the farmer. And we also work on things like statistics. And then this third axis is this axis of sustainability, where we invest a lot in research and innovation on a whole range of topics, on seed varieties, on plant protection products, on increasing yields, because that's an important topic of discussion, of course, in organic farming. And also, as I already mentioned, how to reduce energy consumption, water consumption, plastics consumption. Now, what is a major challenge here, of course, in the EU when it comes to organic production? That is the very different levels of development at which the different member states are situated when it comes to organic production. On the one hand, you have Malta, where organic production or organic farming accounts for 0.5% of the total agricultural area. And then you have Austria, for instance, where we are already above 25%. Denmark, by the way, is around 11.5. So how do we tackle that? First of all, we have invited member states to set ambitious targets for this Green Deal target of 25%. So we invite each member state to reflect and to set an ambitious objective. And then we have invited them to develop a comprehensive plan that is, of course, adapted to their local circumstances. And that's also very important. The logic of this action plan, this EU action plan, is not that Brussels tells everybody what to do. We give a number of pointers, so to say, but then we invite the member states to come up with their own plans that are really tailored to their own specific circumstances. And then we invite them to take in this, in their national plans, the same approach as in the action plan, which is really about taking a comprehensive approach, taking a value chain approach, involving the public sector at all levels, involving private sector at all levels. And that's where we are at this moment in terms of planning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henri Delanghe. Thank you very much for sharing your valuable insights about the ambitious goals of the European Union. You certainly have a lot of very ambitious targets set in both strategies and following up on all these strategies. And you mentioned yourself the fact that we are in very different levels around Europe in the different countries. So could you maybe elaborate a little bit on how you will share the experiences between the countries, not only in the EU, but maybe also outside the EU, because this is why we're here today, to set the bar high and get more knowledge about the best cases around all the countries.
Yes. So as I've explained, so at EU level, we invite member states to have this comprehensive strategy. And there are two things which they should really develop. One is a plan that is needed for the Common Agricultural Policy, where we ask them to provide specific support for organic farming. This is called the National Strategic Plans for the Common Agricultural Policy. There, member states are now submitting these plans. The Commission is now looking at them and entering into a dialogue with the member states. But that's very much focused on agriculture and rural development. Then we invited member states to as a complement to these plans focused on agriculture and rural development, to have an action plan that tackles all the other aspects. And I have mentioned the example of green public procurement, for instance. So member states should have these two plans. What we have now organized at EU level, we have created a network of what we call national organic ambassadors. And these are people who have a double role. On the one hand, they should be the people who at national level can help in the promotion of organic production, who can help in the coordination of all of these support actions in support of organic production. But they are also the people that at EU level can serve as a contact point for exchanges of best practices. And we had a meeting just last week, and I have already mentioned green public procurement. That's so important. So this was really the first point on the agenda.
That's great.
Another point on the agenda was biodistricts, where you co-develop initiatives, tourism initiatives with organic production initiatives.
Thank you.
So that's very important for EU level. Internationally, of course, the main incentive, I think, for third countries in terms of organic production is this rapidly growing market in the EU for organic products, to which third countries have easy access. We have a clear body of legislation which can be followed and which will provide them with access to the EU market.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henri Delanghe. Thank you for sharing your very high ambitions and also the way that you are focusing on the importance of sharing the experiences. I'm sure we will gain even more knowledge from what is happening in the European Union in the coming years. So thank you very much for being with us today. It has certainly been inspiring for getting to know more about your actions, and thank you for being with us, and I wish you a good day.
Thank you, and good luck with your event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now I'm excited to the conversation we are about to have. Our two next inspiring guests will be sharing their views on what steps are necessary to increase organic production and consumption from their perspectives. And they are very dedicated to find actions and solutions to ensure this development within organic production and consumption. We have with us today Mr. Rasmus Prehn, Minister of Food, Agriculture and Fisheries, and Mr. Paul Holmbeck, World Board Member, IFOAM Organics International. And please join me in the studio. Thank you for being with us today. It's a great honor. Thank you very much for being here. So this is important discussion. It's a global food talk, and this is why you are here, because you have high ambitions. So over many years, both the public and private stakeholders have been working close in collaboration to ensure the access to organic food. As mentioned earlier, countries both in the European Union and globally are setting very ambitious targets. It's not only here in Denmark, but certainly also in the rest of the world. We want to convert farmland to organic production and motivate consumers to a higher degree of organic consumption. So many important steps have been taken, and you have certainly contributed to these steps, but we're not there yet. So from your perspective, how can growth and consumption go hand in hand towards a more organic production and consumption? And I want to give the word to you first, Minister Rasmus Prehn.
First of all, thank you for the invitation and have focus on this very important topic. We have a long tradition in Denmark for prioritizing organic food, and we have had a success, in my opinion, because we have involved so many stakeholders, and we have worked with pull and push measures. So what we have done is to work on a political level, on a private sector level, and also with the consumers. And building that together, we have reached this success. And what we do is to secure that the farmers have economical support to have organic production, but also to make it very visible for the consumers that they can buy organic food with this label, this ecological brand, so they actually tend to buy this. And then we also work together with the supermarkets, and they are prioritizing to have the organic products very visible in the supermarkets, and also to make promotion of it. And in that way, we have gained a very high amount of organic food. And I believe in the future we can have even more. And what we have decided on a political level is to have political support, economical support, to double the consumption and to double also the production when it comes to the organic. And when we are doing it, it's because organic food is better for the biodiversity, but it's also better for the climate. And there's a high focus on climate at the moment, but there's a tendency to forget about the environment and the biodiversity. And going with the organic way, we have a more holistic approach. And I believe that's why it is so important to go further in that direction of more organic food.
Thank you very much, Rasmus Prehn, for grabbing the one of the keys, I believe, the push and pull, the demand and supply, as we also heard from Mr. Henri Delanghe, and where Denmark has certainly been in the front row in using specific tools on both these areas. So thank you very much for highlighting this, and we will, I'm sure, get back to this. So Paul Holmbeck,
yes,
being a board member in IFOAM's International Organics, from your perspective, what would be the next important steps?
Yeah, well, first I want to say thank you, and thank you for inviting us. And I want to say hallelujah, because this kind of support for organics is really critical. And we just don't see this in all countries, but there is a lot of policy being developed. And we know that policy actually works on organics. If politicians, engaged politicians, work together with the organic sector, they can create policy to train farmers, promote conversion on the one hand, and then do public procurement, work with retail, inform consumers on the other hand. It really works. Then I think another lesson from Switzerland, BioSwiss, and Organic Denmark is that these partnerships, close partnerships between the sector and retail have really worked, kind of expanding product assortments and really communicating much better to consumers about the why of organics. Another very important tool, which also has been used here in Denmark, is using organics as a tool in these broader policies, because it does deliver on climate, where it's integrated in the Danish climate policies, but also, as of just this week, a new pesticide strategy where organics is a tool. And I think that's why Henri from the Commission has said that the Commission is really encouraging the 26 European nations to integrate organic policy into their strategic plans for agriculture and rural development. And then in the Global South, there it's not necessarily certified organic, which is the focus, but it's really organic practices in agroecology because it works. It's improving farmers, smallholders' soil. It's giving a wider variety of crops, which gives better nutrition, less risk, better incomes. And in that way, they're really using it to develop their agriculture and ensure food security. So there's all this innovation around the world in policy, market development, and farmers learning new ways of doing farming. And we just need to spread those kind of best practices.
Thank you very much, Paul. And we will get back to those international initiatives. And of course, we have this, clearly it's a Danish stronghold. And you, from a political point of view, are certainly have high ambitions. And you just mentioned it right now. You want to double the consumption. You want to double the area of organic farmland in Denmark. But maybe you could just take us a little bit further down that road, Rasmus. What would be, the most important way to reach those targets from your perspective?
I really think it's the combination of political support, economical support, but also to set up a organization around it. And for instance, using the public kitchens to be a driver of having this innovation on this area. For instance, when the municipality of Copenhagen decided to have a specific aim for organic food. They was really a driver, because when such a huge municipality start to buy in organic food for citizens and employees, then it's really something that give a demand that can be a driver, and then it would be also more possible for ordinary consumers to buy the products, because there is a basic demand. So we could work much more in having professional kitchens to be a driver of this, and then of course to have working with the EU supporting system, this new CAP reform, to have eco schemes and other things to give economical support to secure more organic. So you have a better supply, but also a better demand. And that's really the way to secure this development.
And just to add on those public kitchens, I mean, we really have something to share from a Danish perspective here. We have the organic label, as you mentioned, for
the
all
organic
of us.
label. As I understand, we had a research saying that the organic label in Denmark is as well known as the brand of Coca-Cola. So that's really something. It's a really well known brand.
Yeah.
Everybody in Denmark knows this red Ø, this Danish letter Ø, and they know this is organic and we can buy it, and it's better for animal welfare, it's better for biodiversity, it's better for climate, and it's a really good brand to have. And it seems like more and more consumers tends to buy this because the awareness of animal welfare and biodiversity is going up, and also climate.
I'm just thinking of the fact that we also have the label in the public kitchens, and that might be one of the things that we should really, I know we are already sharing it with other nations, but the method of using that in the public kitchens is just a really
it's
good
really
example.
something that you can actually see at a public kitchen, that they are labeled as an organic kitchen, and that's really something.
That's quite unique.
It's unique, and it's a really a good driver, and employees in a canteen are very proud when their own canteen have this gold medal or whatever it is.
That's right.
That's something that's is a driver for this development. And what we see also with the canteens is when you have meals served in your canteen, and you can see this is very inspirational, then you will bring it back and do the same at your own in your own home, and therefore the professional kitchens are a driver for a lot of other things.
But we need more good ideas. So Paul, I certainly feel the momentum here from the minister. We see a lot of actions taken from different stakeholders. Is this your experience as well? I mean, where you come in the international?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of focus now on, after, in recent years, we've had these incredible breakthroughs with recognition for organic as a tool for addressing some of the most serious problems of our times, of soil depletion, climate change, biodiversity loss, and hunger. So we have FAO, we have the UN Climate Panel, World Food Security, all saying that organics is part of the solution. So now the focus is on the how. So I think there's a real need, and I know IFOAM Organics International is actually seeking more partners to spread best practices on policy that are being used all over the world to address different aspects of production, driving the market, sector development, innovation out on the farms, also very important, so that we can grow organics further. And it's, we have a lot of breakthroughs. I mean, we're at 100 billion euros in sales and 70 million hectares, so we're growing, but the potential is much greater.
So you're really working on gathering all the good ideas on the political level and sharing it with the rest of the world.
IFOAM's put out actually a toolkit with policy recommendations that can be used, and then we're trying to bring policymakers together. We have something called the Food Policy Forum for Change, where we now have policymakers from over 20 countries talking together. The Food Systems Summit, the UN Food Systems Summit, also launched the Agroecology Coalition, which is also going to help to spread best practice, bring policymakers together with the NGOs working for agroecology. So, I mean, the partners are there, the actors are there, the lessons are there. So what we need is action. And I think that's, again, what the Commission is saying, that the 26 member states in Europe are very different in how engaged, how much they're working on developing organics.
It's so good what you're saying, Paul, that we have to bring people together and inspire each other. And what I feel when I am in meetings in the EU is that many other ministers on agriculture are so curious towards what we're doing in Denmark. And they are asking questions about how can you have such a high amount of organic food, and how can you do this and that. And they would like to have conversations with us because we have the models. And I'm happy to inspire other countries to go in this direction, because it's so much better for biodiversity, animal welfare, and climate.
So being on that note, we are here sharing already. We are doing it right now, sharing the good ideas. So thank you very much for that. But Rasmus, just rounding off maybe now, would you share one good advice to other policy leaders, policy makers, not only in the European Union, but globally? What would be your best advice in order to take this development even further?
It's actually to dare and to do it. And to set up measures and then be open towards ideas. And there's lots of concrete ideas, and they are more than welcome to visit Denmark or to talk with us about the concrete ideas to drive this development further.
Yes, okay, that's really motivating. Dare and do it.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good one, and that's what I really hope for after this dialogue, that we motivate people to be there. What about you, Paul?
Well, I mean, as I meet people around the world, I think most often the missing ingredient is governments that will invest in their organic sector. Because the organic organizations can be change agents in the market, developing new markets, developing new ways of farming, but there's no investment in them, so they don't grow. They don't grow in capacity so that they can actually drive change. And I think for companies, I would really suggest using organics, producing organically, of course, but also using organics in some of the other larger food shifts going on. Organic plant-based, organic convenience, regenerative organic, like we're seeing emerge in the United States with regenerative organic certification. I think those are some real package solutions that provide additional sustainability deliveries. So I think that's probably the place to be on the market for companies.
So a really good advice both for governments and companies here. So you see the organic area as an innovator, as I hear it.
Well, yeah, and it's really a foundation for other things. Like Whole Foods Markets in the United States, for example, has just decided, yes, we would like to support regenerative agriculture, but it has to be organic. So we're going to build on that solid, credible foundation that all the organic practices are and principles, and then we'll add on to that. So plant-based, convenience,
Great. Thank you, both of you, for being with us today and sharing your really good advices. It has been inspiring, certainly. And I will just wish you all the best for the next important actions that you're going to take. I know you will. So good luck with that, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we need to change setting. So I will invite you to leave the studio, and we will invite the next two guests. And this is really important, and I'm honored to welcome two new guests, and I guess I can call them real action takers. They have taken already important steps in their companies towards sustainable and organic food production. And today they will share some of the specific actions and tools and what they look into in the coming years in order to move towards a more sustainable food system where organic production and consumption play an important role. So with me today, I would like to welcome Kræn Østergaard Nielsen, CEO of COOP Denmark, and also Hanne Søndergaard, CMO and EVP of Marketing, Innovation, Communication and Sustainability at Arla Foods. Welcome in the studio, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you with us today.
Likewise.
Hi. So this is, I've been looking so much forward to this business part of this discussion because we have heard a few inputs now on both the demand and supply. So you are really important stakeholders in this value chain of the organic consumption and production. So just an introductional question here. So we have been working over many years from both the public, the private, and driven this development by producing, innovating, selling these products. But what is the key to achieve success? And we should look, I think, both on the production side, on the sales side. So why don't we start on the sales side? First of all, Kræn Østergaard. From COOP Denmark, you are the biggest retailer in Denmark. You have been playing a really important role within this area. So from your perspective, what is the key to success in sales within the organics?
I think when we look back, it was important to say that the organic market was not something we had, it was something we had to create. But it was also a huge opportunity in order to, both for society, for the consumers, for us as a business, but also I think for our employees in terms of even more higher purpose of going to work. So I think that is a huge opportunity for us as businesses. But it requires a long-term view, but it has enabled us to differentiate more, put more value into the categories, and has values that we believe in has been even more embedded in our brand. And now today we have more than 15% of all food sold in our stores is organic. So we've come a long way. We see there's a lot of potential. I think some of the key success factors has been this mission, longer view, and saying we want this to happen. And then very importantly, the collaboration from politicians, NGOs, government institutions, good partners along the value chain. This is not something we could do on our own. It's not something the supply side could do on their own. It's a trust-based collaborative approach with partners, and it's with existing partners. We've been working together for many, many years, the big companies, but also working with more the startup scene. I was just on a call with the CEO of one of our organic partners this morning. We started 25 years together. It was so small, but now today it's more than 100 million euro business. And now we need to create also the next generation of startups. So we have now a crowdfunding platform that helps organic and climate-friendly new suppliers emerge to keep driving innovation.
So you have the long view on this development.
The long view.
That's one of the important keys. But you mentioned a lot of other interesting things, among others the employers, and we might get back to that in just a little while. Thank you very much, Kræn. So Hanne, I mean, you are in Arla, and Arla is this huge cooperative and also world's biggest dairy producer. That's incredible. This is about the whole production line. You own the whole production line, so to speak. So what is the key to success in this area from your perspective?
Yeah, so I don't think we're the world's biggest producer, but we're the world's biggest producer of organic dairy.
Right.
So I very much agree with Kræn. I think part of the secret for us has been this long haul in the market. I think both of our businesses many years ago believed in this. And I think that belief was necessary at that point because we needed the farmers to get on this journey. As we know, there is a conversion time for them, so they need to be able to see that market is going to be there for the long term. So that was something we needed to show them. And I think to show them that, it was important to us that, for example, the retailers like COOP, opened up for organic in stores, etc., to signal that market is coming. So I think that's part of the secret. And then I guess our role in the development of organic in Denmark, for example, where we know we have a very high consumption, has been that some of our products are very high frequency products. Consumers consume them frequently. So when we get consumers to buy into organic on milk, you get into organic on many things. So I think milk has perhaps been one of those trailblazers of organic development somehow. And then I think innovation is key as well. So when I look back on the journey that we've had, particularly in Denmark, then it has also been about bringing some of that innovation to market, simple innovation. That means that organic is not just from a nature perspective relevant, but also from a product perspective is relevant. So I think that's key as well.
Yeah. And you might, both of you, be touching a little bit upon the fact that Paul Holmbeck also mentioned that how can organics be part of the new trends that we're seeing, like an innovator in lifting new areas and lifting itself as well as a tool. So maybe Kræn, if you should point, I mean, you already pointed to some of the keys. I mean, the collaboration, the trust-based collaborative model, and so on. But if you should kind of highlight some of the really spectacular tools in the box, which has had the biggest impact, what would you mention here?
The state control, the independent labeling is, of course, super important. And then I think this collaborative approach, and then I think the point about innovation is becoming even stronger, that a lot of innovative products that's coming now, they're organic, and it's not kind of the main message, but of course they're organic. So I think that's about organic being part of a new innovation and keeps becoming more and more relevant. And I think this also comes back to the purpose I mentioned for our associates and for all of us that are working, I think, both on the supply side here, that we are driving both innovation, relevant products, but also more sustainable products is driving a lot of purpose at work.
So you really feel it with your employees that they are kind of motivated and proud being part of this journey?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we only see this growing even more momentum.
Yeah.
I think the new generation, they don't want to work on something they can't see. The world was a little bit better due to my work.
Okay.
So we feel that it's part of our 150-year-old history, but it's just becoming even more important.
Okay. So is this one of the reasons as well for Arla why you choose to be world leading within organic production, Hanne? Is this also one of the keys?
I think when you go back to the beginning, for some of the farmers that also were in early, it is a belief. It's you believe in this way of farming with nature, etc. So I think there is a lot to be said about that. I can say that I also think that it's also important for organic to continue to develop.
Yeah.
Because there are many, potential answers out there about what's most sustainable right now. And there, I think organic, we need to make sure that those benefits that organic has, that Paul talked to earlier, that we really dial them up, which is why we have chosen now to start working with this regenerative approach also on organic. So really further develop organic's ability to improve biodiversity, to improve soil health, to improve soil carbon, and really be that, that lighthouse for how you farm with nature, right? Which I guess when you start doing that, we can see a lot of energy amongst people internally also, to your point. Absolutely.
And just a little more words on that one, Hanne, because I have this value chain perspective on my mind. Is this along your value chain? Is it both on the farms? So you go to the farms, you have this dialogue with them in your production sites and so on. It's all the way, or How would you describe it?
I think no farms, no organic, right?
No.
I mean, it's all about what happens on farm. Let's face it. Yes, I would say the biggest thing for us is the work we do with our farmers. And then I think at the front end, it's about the consumer understanding the benefit of organic. And I very much agree with what Kræn said, that having a clear standard that you can trust, that's what organic is. And for that to be really clear in a country, I know there's a lot of countries outside of Denmark listening in, you know, for that to be really clear, it's really, really important. So I think the farm end and working with the farmers on how we develop, but also the consumer and making sure that everyone is clear about the benefits and how organic benefits to the whole sustainability journey we're on now.
So this is one of the tasks that you share, isn't it? To make it clear to the consumers what are the benefits. Do you agree on this one?
Definitely, and also on the political side. And I think we have a huge task ahead of us. I think we have succeeded very well with organic, but also in the next generation of organics and the next generation of sustainability. How do we help the consumer? We are consumer owned. We hear a lot, help me please, this is a jungle. I want to, more and more of our customers want to shop more, live more sustainable. But what does that mean? You come down to our store, you have 10,000 products. Please help me, guide me in making it easy so you don't come in paralysis. And I think there's a big risk that there are so many different trade-offs that you can become in paralysis and maybe just say, okay, I go with the cheapest one. So I think we need to help the consumer. We've succeeded with that with the organic label, but I think also when we talk about the climate agenda and more trade-offs are being surfaced, we need to help the consumers from the supply side, from the political side, but also from the retail side.
And let's just stay a little bit about those challenges where we need to make it easier to maybe choose this organic way. So looking across the value chain, Hanne, where are the challenges? I mean, where is it difficult? You make it seem a little bit easy to make this innovative change. Is it so, or where do we see the challenges of taking these steps?
So perhaps if I go outside of Denmark, because of course in Denmark this has been a long journey to get to where we are now, with such a high consumption of organic. So maybe the best place to go is to the next countries that are developing. And I think, is it easy? No, it's not. But I think the key is still that we make it really clear what's different about organic, and that we give the consumer this opportunity to trust organic, you know. And that's where I think the more we can strengthen with those key benefits that organic has around animal welfare, around biodiversity, around soil health, for example, more and more people are interested in that now, and I think that will benefit organic. And you know, we've been through a period where organic was about me. Yeah. It was about, it's a little bit better for my family, I do it for that. Now it's about the world as well, and for more and more people it is about the world as well. And I think that's where we need to make clear what those benefits that organic has for the world and for the food system. Let's help people to understand them.
And if we should just, both of you, try to be very specific in one action that has succeeded in, making these differences very clear. Would you, both of you, maybe just think of one success communication, activity, engagement thing? Where did you both succeed in making these differences clear? Just, I think that would be really interesting to our participants today.
Yeah.
Do you have a good example?
Well, I think at least something that has been highly relevant for the consumer is the joint effort from big branded suppliers, from more kind of the NGO side, but also from what we have done on the retail side, also with our own brands, in order to make it near to the customer. So it's not only marketing out here, but it's very near. So telling the stories about the farms, showing that in all our own media, but also on our own products. And we've developed 200% organic focused brands, and that are more very accessible across categories. So making it easy to navigate through our store and telling the stories about the farmers behind those products.
Yeah, okay. That's a good idea. To bring the farmers way much further in the communication.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What about you, Hanne?
I have to say, I think if I should think about the biggest thing we've done, I would still go back to that organic mark that we have in Denmark, because I do think that's what consumers trust that.
Yeah.
They know when they see that, they know what they're going to get. I think another thing we've done in Denmark is we've created collectively, all of us, some standards for animal welfare, which also helps people say, okay, that animal welfare I get with, in Denmark it's called 3 hearts or 2 hearts, that's just a little bit better. So to be able to highlight that on organic as well, I think is also something simple.
Yeah.
Because you think it's better for animal welfare, but is it? And now we can show that it is. So I think that's helping as well.
I think it's a good point with the organic mark. We've had it so long and it's so ingrained that we take it for granted, but I think we would not be where we are if not with that clear signal, trustworthy signal, uniform signal.
Yeah.
I think if I can just mention one other thing.
Yes.
I think maybe one thing we're not talking about is price.
Yes.
So I also think one of the secrets of organic in Denmark is that we have kept the premium at a level where consumers are buying. And I think that's very important also with the aspiration we hear earlier from EU, is that premium has to be at a place where consumers are prepared to pay. So if we really want to scale organic for the nature, for sustainability, we have to keep the premium at a level where consumers are prepared to come in. And I think that has been part of the secret in Denmark as well.
So
I can add to that. Back in 2015, we also said we want to help make Denmark twice as organic. And we lowered prices, and we can really see that, to your point, that drives a lot of demand. But we're not done with that. I think on a lot of products, on the dairy side, the premium is not very high, but on some of the more processed, on the meat side, on the poultry side, we have a lot of way to go to keep. What are the bottlenecks? How can we keep increase efficiency in order to get that premium down? So it's something that's not for the elite; it's for everybody.
And that is certainly a unique situation also here in Denmark.
It is.
We know it's not like that in many other countries, but we are on a journey.
Yes.
And I certainly hear that it's worth taking that journey from both of you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Kræn and Hanne, we are towards the end now in our conversation here, and rounding off, I would like to ask you both to share a good advice to other business leaders who would like to take action within this area. So Kræn, maybe other business leaders within the retail business or in general, what would be your best advice in order to take ambitious actions?
My best advice would be not to wait. To say, okay, I'm not sitting waiting for someone to call me to make a coalition. Anyone can start the coalition. So I think be the first. There's also, I think, business upside in that, and it's so. If no one's knocking at your door, go and knock on some of your suppliers or NGOs, and then create a coalition and build momentum. You cannot do this alone, but you can do it together. And also be welcome to reach out to us if we can be helpful in any way.
Very motivating. Thank you very much, Kræn. Good advice. And Hanne, from your side?
Yeah, so I think I would very much agree with what Kræn just said. I think go for scale would be my also. Be sometimes with organic we go for niche, and I think be careful with that because we don't get the impact with organic that we'd like to have at that point. So I think go for scale. And then I do think that innovation is key as well. So, it's organic and if you really want to be successful, I think. So when I look back at certainly the history that we've had here, then innovation has played a big role.
Also very motivating, Hanne, and important if we really want to reach those ambitious targets being set not only here in Denmark, but all over the world. Yes. Thank you very much, both of you, for being with us today.
Thank
and
you.
I
Thank
would
you.
like to say that you've been very inspiring, and a lot of good ideas has been brought to the table today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, during this almost last 1 hour, we have been talking a lot about the inspiring experiences, advices, and actions that can contribute to accelerate the development within organic production and consumption. So no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you are based, urgent actions are needed to reach the desired future described in the letter from the future from 2050 that you heard about earlier today. I would like to highlight a few of the things that I especially take away from today's Global Food Talk. I will underline the fact that all our speakers highlighted collaboration and trust as important tools within the targets of organic transformation. We need to share experiences as well and actions across borders and between retail, industry, academia, and government. These are some of the keys to succeed with the transformation. It's highly important, and therefore I'm happy to hear about the many good initiatives from governments, from the European Union today, from companies and also NGOs that have worked with organic transition for many years and still have really high ambitions to increase this further all around the world. But we all have an important role to play to succeed with this development within organic production and consumption. It will only happen if we, you and me as consumers also take action. So more organic products has to join our shopping baskets as well, as we heard from the speakers today. And we will be met, as I also heard, with a lot of innovation, because innovation is certainly also a key to reach the transformation. So, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you will join us again in May, where we have our next Global Food Talk and where we will look into the theme of climate and all the actions needed to be taken in order to reach the necessary transformation of our food systems. So please stay tuned on our social media from Food Nation and through our newsletter. And this is where you will get the latest news on upcoming events, webinars and updates from the agriculture and food sector. And I really hope that you will follow us so we can have another talk, and it will be in May. So thank you very much for joining us today, and have a nice day.